Over the years, Batman has collaborated with psychopaths, genocidal alchemists, and mass-murdering dictators. Even though he hates working with the same scumbags he has dedicated his life to putting behind bars, the Caped Crusader is often forced to do what is needed for the greater good. I'm Ewan, this is Wild Culture Comics, and here are 10 times Batman was forced to work with villains. Number 10. The Riddler, Detective Comics number 822. Every once in a while, a supervillain will discard their criminal lifestyle and become a force for good. There are many reasons why characters reform like this. Sometimes it's because they learn the error of their ways. Other times they are forced to ally with their enemies to defeat a greater foe. But in the case of the Riddler, all it took was a bonk on the head. After being struck by Shining Knight, Edward Nygma was left with brain damage and slipped into a coma. When he came to, he realized he'd been cured of his obsession with riddles and any desire for committing crimes. With his new lease on life, the cane-twirling puzzler became a private detective. Although Batman didn't trust him, he had to work with his former foe after the Riddler learned someone was trying to frame Bruce Wayne for murder. While driving in the Batmobile, Nygma pointed out quite hilariously that this was the first time he'd been inside Batman's car, well, conscious. Even though Bats acknowledged that he and Nygma did some good work together, it wasn't long before the bowler sporting criminal reverted to his supervillain persona. Number 9. Bane, Batman Gotham Knights number 47. For most of his life, Bane was unaware of the identity of his father. After some deduction, the muscle-bound luchador came to the conclusion that his dear old dad was none other than Bruce Wayne's father, Thomas Wayne. When Bane presented these very obviously true findings to Batman, he naturally dismissed them, mainly because he didn't like the idea that the guy who broke his back was also his brother, but also probably because he didn't want Bane splashing the Wayne family fortune on his own wrestling promotion or something. However, because Thomas Wayne had befriended Bane's mother at one point in time, Bruce analysed a sample of the supervillain's DNA to put his mind at ease. While they waited several days to confirm the results, Bane stayed at Wayne Manor and helped Batman with his nightly patrols in Gotham. When the test results proved Bane and Batman weren't siblings, the Protector of Gotham helped him chase down a lead to uncover his father's true identity. While traveling, Bane located his father, a terrorist called King Snake, who was preparing to unleash a devastating weapon upon the world. When Snake shot at Batman, Bane jumped in front of the bullet, saving the Dark Knight's life. Left mortally wounded, Batman dropped Bane into a Lazarus pit, bringing him back from the brink of death. Number 8. Poison Ivy, Batman Gotham Knights number 61. When Gotham was hit by a massive earthquake, Poison Ivy transported dozens of orphans to her hideout and looked after them until the city was safe. When she discovered months later that each of the children that she had cared for had died, Ivy assumed they'd been infected by the toxins in her body. Horrified by what she had done, the venomous vixen vowed to cure herself of her condition. After tracking down Bruce Wayne, she begged him to use his company's resources to reverse her situation. After she returned to normal, Ivy discovered that she wasn't responsible for the children's deaths after all, at least not directly. A corrupt agency called the Division had infected the kids with Ivy's DNA, hoping to replicate her power, knowing she would be blamed if anything went wrong. Without her plant-controlling abilities to exact revenge herself, Ivy had to ask Bruce Wayne to call his friend Batman to help her put a stop to the Division. This means that Poison Ivy asked for Bruce Wayne and Batman's assistance for 2 separate issues, oblivious that they were one and the same. Number 7. Two-Face, All-Star Batman number 1. When Harvey Dent told Batman there was a cure that could permanently remove Two-Face's personality from his mind, Batman was more than happy to help him track it down. While they traveled, Two-Face wrangled control over Dent's mind and sent out a video message that ordered every criminal in Gotham to assassinate Batman, or he would release enough evidence to put them away for life. As every gangster and hitman under the sun hunted the Dark Knight down, Batman did all he could to protect Harvey, even though his worse half was the reason they were in the predicament in the first place. When Batman located the cure, he discovered it wasn't a cure at all. In reality, it was a toxin that allowed Two-Face to permanently take over Harvey's mind. Harvey then explained that he was tired of fighting with Two-Face and decided to throw in the towel by letting his alter have absolute control over him. Although Batman injected Harvey with an antidote that rendered him immune to the toxin, it meant that Harvey was stuck with Two-Face for the rest of his life. Number 6. Talia al Ghul. Like, a lot. After Dr. Dark became the new leader of the League of Assassins, he took Talia al Ghul as a hostage to use as leverage against her father, Ra's al Ghul. When Batman confronted Dark, he rescued Talia, unaware of her connection to Ra's. After he discovered Talia's heritage, he became conflicted since they developed feelings for one another. Despite the fact that Batman is a crime fighter and Talia is a big fan of, world domination, their love for one another has caused them to join forces many times over the years. When Ra's was seemingly captured in Switzerland, Batman assisted Talia in finding him. In Batman number 257, the Dark Knight helped her to defeat the Penguin, who was keeping Ra's imprisoned. After Ra's had the Great Detective locked up in Batman number 331 to 334, Talia betrayed her father by breaking her beloved out of his cell. When Bruce Wayne was framed for murder during Detective Comics number 444 to 448, Talia met him in Gotham to prove his innocence. Even though it is rare for Batman to ally with an enemy, his feelings for Talia have urged him to work with her more than anyone else in his rogues gallery. Number 5. Lex Luthor, Justice League number 30, 2014. Time and time again, Lex Luthor wanted to prove that humanity's future lied in his hands, not in superheroes. And when the Crime Syndicate took over the world and imprisoned the Justice League, Luthor finally got the chance to take center stage. When he single-handedly defeated the Crime Syndicate's leader, Luthor was hailed as the savior of mankind. With his perfect public image, Luthor picked this opportunity to weasel his way into the Justice League, knowing it would tarnish the team's reputation to reject him. Since Luthor had discovered Batman's secret identity at the same time, he was able to force a collaboration with his company, much to Bruce Wayne's fury. Because the team knew Luthor would do more harm than good if he was dismissed, Batman reluctantly welcomed him into the League. To Luthor's credit, his tenure as a Leaguer did have some benefits. Immediately after he joined, he tracked down an interdimensional power ring, which directly led to Jessica Cruz becoming the new Green Lantern of Earth. I mean, he also infected thousands of people with the virus and became Darkseid shortly after, but it does prove Luthor occasionally has his good moments. Number 4. Penguin, Batman 58, 2019. In the City of Bane saga, the titular villain orchestrated a master plan to destroy Batman, which involved teaming up with multiple criminals, including Penguin. But after Bane's forces killed Cobblepot's wife, a literal penguin called Penny, I guess we can't hit home runs all the time, Tom King, he asked for Batman's help to bring down the relentless brute. After he informed Batman that Bane was using Arkham Asylum as his base, Bats headed to the institution while Penguin hid in the Batcave for his own protection. Sadly though, Batman and Penguin's alliance didn't last long since the Batcave was discovered by Bane's partner, Thomas Wayne from the Flashpoint reality. It'll take way too long to explain why Batman's father was working with Bane, so let's just leave it at that. Number 3. Ra's al Ghul, Batman Superman number 7, 2020. Kandor is a Kryptonian city that was miniaturized and bottled by Brainiac before Krypton exploded. When Superman located the bottled city, he brought it to the Fortress of Solitude, hoping to find a way to return the Kryptonians inside to full size. Before the Man of Steel had a chance to do this, all the inhabitants were killed by Rogal Zar. But when General Zod discovered Ra's al Ghul could revive the dead using an enchanted pool called the Lazarus Pit, he stole the remains of Kandor from Supes, intending to resurrect the Kryptonians inside. Since the Lazarus Pit tends to make the recently resurrected a bit, fighty, Ra's didn't like the idea of thousands of crazy mini Kryptonians rampaging around the globe. So, teaming up with Batman and Superman, Ra's headed to the Lazarus Pit in Quetzalcoatl to put an end to Zod's plan. Sadly, they were too late to stop Zod hurling the Kryptonians into the pit, forcing Supes, Bats, and Ra's to battle an army of mini Supermen. Once they were defeated, Zod prepared to kill Ra's, but Batman convinced the Kryptonian general to let him go. Furious that Batman saved his life, Ra's stormed off humiliated. Number 2. Mr. Freeze, Detective Comics number 1015. Mr. Freeze has always come across as ruthless, mainly for his habit of turning everyone who crossed his path into a human popsicle. But Victor Freeze isn't as cold-hearted as he appears. I mean, he is, but I mean metaphorically speaking. The cryonic scientist only became a criminal to advance his research so he could find a cure for his terminally ill wife, Nora. After many years, Mr. Freeze finally managed to cure Nora using a serum concocted by Lex Luthor. However, the antidote was too volatile, leaving Nora even more callous than her husband. Embracing her new lease of life, Nora abandoned Victor and, armed with her own freeze gun, became the supervillain Mrs. Freeze. Devastated to see his lover being corrupted, Mr. Freeze sought out Batman, imploring him to stop her. After cornering Nora at the Gotham Museum of Art, Bats had the perfect opportunity to defeat her. Knowing that Batman intended to have her incarcerated though, Mr. Freeze turned against the cowed crime fighter so he could beg for his wife to come back to him. Taking advantage of her husband's sentimentality, Nora incinerated Victor before escaping. That's rough. And number 1, Joker, Dark Knight's Metal number 6. For the longest time, the Justice League were aware that all existence was composed of many universes, which was called the multiverse. But in recent years, they discovered a dark secret. Hidden within the well of reality lied a dark multiverse, ruled by an entity called Barbados. When this devilish deity decided to corrupt the regular multiverse, he sent his lieutenant to destroy the Justice League. The League were horrified to learn Barbados' personal agent was the Batman Who Laughs, a hybrid version of Batman and the Joker. With the fighting skills of the Dark Knight and the twisted mind of the Clown Prince of Crime, the Batman Who Laughs was able to overpower the superheroes physically and mentally. Batman reasoned that he couldn't defeat his evil twin unless he found someone who could think like him. As a result, the Dark Knight teamed up with his nemesis, the Joker. Because the Joker is so crazy, the Batman Who Laughs was completely unable to predict his actions, giving the insidious jester an edge in battle, and ultimately leading to the Dark Aberration's defeat. And those were 10 occasions where Batman had to team up with his villains. Do you have any other examples that would fit the list? Post them down in the comments below, drop the video a like if you enjoyed it, and be sure to subscribe to Wild Culture Comics so you don't miss another upload going forward. I've been Ewan, I hope you're all doing okay, and I'll hopefully see you next time. Bye!